Hey friend, imagine spending your entire life building something incredible only to see it fall apart because you didn't take the steps to protect it. Essentially, it's leaving your legacy up to chance. Is that a risk you're willing to take? Let's dive in. Now, before we jump in, if you're new to this channel, my name is Temi. I'm a lawyer, author, and speaker, and I help business leaders and high-achieving professionals protect their assets, amplify their influence, and secure their legacies. And I've made some observations. Here's the biggest one. The greatest leaders don't leave their legacies up to chance. They have intentional plans. And there's a couple of reasons why they do this. They understand that there are a ton of risk associated with not having a plan. First, there are risks to you. You risk having people who don't know your intentions making decisions for you at the end of your life, right? And making decisions about the things you want to pass on to the people you love. You also run the risk of being remembered for the wrong things. Being remembered for the chaos that's associated with your passing, being remembered for mistakes that are being done, being remembered for things that are not aligned with the impact and influence that you've left or you've desired to leave. There are also significant risks associated for your loved ones. When you don't have a plan that's clearly outlined, clearly communicated, you create confusion, right? People don't know and have to guess what your intentions are. They end up having to navigate an already difficult time with further complications because there is no clear plan. They have to kind of deal with default plans that the government might leave or try and scrape together whatever ones they can. They might even have to deal with infighting because one person might want things to go one way, another person might want things to go another way. And this isn't just for your loved ones, this is also for your businesses, right? If you have teams and customers and clients, without a plan, nobody knows what to do if something happens to you. This can really impact somebody else's livelihood if you have employees. This could impact your family if you are the person who produces a large portion of the wealth that sustains your family, right? And this really could impact generations to come, right? Because if you don't put the proper things in place, your family, your loved ones, your partners could end up spending money in court trying to figure out what to do with your stuff rather than taking what you've already created and putting it into place to kind of do the things that you want. So without having a plan in place, you're basically leaving your values, your knowledge, your resources up to chance, and like whatever happens, happens. And I promise, even if you don't have a plan, the government has a plan for you. But on the other side, there can be positivity if you do, if you choose to be intentional. Additionally, there are some consequences to these different risks. You basically give up control and you subject yourself to other people's wishes instead of your own. And we've seen this in the news before. We've heard about Prince. We've known about how Prince had a particular plan about the way he wanted his intellectual property protected. And we see what happened with it. We've heard about Michael Jackson. We know what happened there. We've heard about Princess Diana. We know what happened there. There are so many times and so many stories where we've seen it. We've also seen it with people close. We've seen when life happens and people have to scramble and the GoFundMes. And of course, we appreciate that we have those platforms that create opportunities for us to give. But when people's entire livelihoods are now dependent upon that, that's just not something you want. It's really the difference between being reactive and proactive. We want to make sure that you're moving into a place where you have scalable systems and processes and where you're leveraging the law as a business owner and as a professional to really take the reins over your own legacy. Hey friend, here's a quick break to highlight a resource that will help you uncover how future-proof your business really is. My team and I have worked together to create the Wealth and Business Security Scorecard to help you discover where you might be vulnerable when it comes to long-term success, security, wealth, and longevity. In uncertain times, you need to prioritize figuring out ways to future-proof your business, and this scorecard was designed to help you do just that. After you finish it, you'll receive your very own custom score and specific strategies you can immediately implement to make your business more secure and future-proof. I'll link it below. You can get back to the video. Talk to you soon. But let's be real. I know why this happens. Okay, sometimes this happens because you're the first in your family, first in your community to really have access to new resources. This might be new wealth. You're breaking generational curses, generational patterns, and making more money than your family has ever seen before. So you've never gotten the template as to how to navigate these things. The other thing is that we're busy, right? We have so many demands for our time. That's probably why people are wealthy, right? You're going here, you're going there, you're trying to build your business, trying to support your team, trying to protect your family, all of those things. Survival right now, sustainability right now is really the main focus. And a lot of times people just think life can't happen to me. But life can happen to you. Trust me, if you didn't see my last video about life happening to me and my family, please check it out. Because life happens. And despite us not wanting to prepare for these things or not thinking that there's a sense of urgency, there really is. And so I want us to move into talking about what legacy is and how you can be intentional about building your own. Now, most people think about legacy as something that happens after we're gone. We think about it as after we're dead, what do people remember us for? And that's important, but that's only a small portion of it. And I think this idea that it's after we're gone is really limited. In fact, I call it a leftover legacy mentality. It's focused on leftovers. What's left? It's only about survival, self, and scarcity. But there is a much better way. And you can make those decisions right now to improve your legacy and make sure it endures beyond leftovers. Make sure that it's something that amplifies your influence and amplifies your impact. I mean, what if I told you that you could make decisions today that change everything? That change more than money, more than property, more than memories, but create lasting impact. This is what I call an iconic legacy. An iconic legacy is a life of enduring impact that transcends time. It is cultivated through intentional actions, values, and contributions that are expressed through 3 core pillars that I've noticed over time. These core pillars create the foundations for abundance and longevity, and they are number 1, leadership, number 2, leverage, and number 3, law. Leadership is about vision. It's about clarity for the future beyond you. Leverage is about the creation and development of systems that facilitate continuity. And the law is all about documentation. It's about memorializing the protection that you and your loved ones need to ensure that the legal system protects you and works for you instead of against you. And listen, this isn't something that's easy. There are tons of people who make mistakes, but it can work out well. I'm going to give you an example of this working on a regular person. Like, we can talk about the celebrities and I'll talk about the big names, but I want to start with talking about just a regular person like you and me. When I finished law school, I remember connecting with one of my friends. We were recent lawyers, brand new. And I remember going to one of my classmates' place and it was beautiful. Like, I was like, oh, she wasn't a classmate. She was a colleague. And her place was gorgeous. I mean, I was like, did we all just graduate? Because this is not how my place looks like. I just, I'm a new lawyer. I don't know how you made this, And she began to tell me how she was able to get into that type of living condition. And she said, listen, I was really blessed. My grandmother, when she passed away, left me a sizable inheritance. And that inheritance afforded me the ability to not have to take out loans for law school and afforded me the ability to, live like this. Now, obviously, there are communities and there are systems in place that have stopped other people from having that same access, right? So we understand that. But now that we know game, now that we know what's up, we have to leverage it. Let's talk about the big names that we see, right? That leverage leadership, leverage, and law. Sam Walton, he's the founder of Walmart, right? And he was a retail revolutionary person, right? He used strategic estate planning and trust structures to ensure that Walmart had continued, and we see it today. And he also built a legacy, right, that remains influential in global retail. The Waltons, they're also responsible for Sam's Club, right? So it's huge. Another name that you might be familiar with, Andrew Carnegie. Andrew Carnegie was an industrialist and a pioneer of the American steel industry, and he strategically navigated the business laws and estate planning to ensure that his wealth would fund his philanthropic efforts. His legacy is that he transformed education and public access to knowledge through libraries and endowments because he was intentional about these things. Another person is Madam C.J. Walker. Yes, she was a Black beauty pioneer and philanthropist, and she had a vision to transform the beauty industry for women of color. She was legitimately a pioneer. But you know what she did? She also leveraged the law. She protected her brand through trademarks and other intellectual property, and she kept her home, her physical home, within her family. She incorporated philanthropy into her estate planning so that her estate would continue to give. All of these things are so critical, but I found a quote that I think really embodies why this is so important. Dr. Darius Daniels, he's a speaker, leader, and teacher. He said this when he was talking about certain strategic investments he made concerning his legacy. He said, "I don't want the people I love to be at the mercy of somebody else's generosity." Listen, did you hear that? He said, "I don't want the people I love to be at the mercy of somebody else's generosity." That means that he doesn't want his people, his loved ones, to have to wait for someone else to give them something in order for them to survive, in order for them to thrive. Now, there are a lot of things that I've unpacked, today. We talked about law, we talked about legacy, we talked about leverage, but I'm going to go deeper in the next few videos. But today, as we wrap up, I want to leave you with this question. Are you actively building your legacy, or are you leaving it to chance? Now, I want to remind you that when you leave your legacy up to chance, there are a lot of risk associated with it. But you don't have to do that. You can take and make decisions today that shape your legacy forever. You don't have to leave leftovers. You can create something that endures and creates abundance based off of what you do and don't do today. So be intentional. What does legacy mean to you? And who do you know that has created an enduring legacy? Let me know in the comments below. I'd love to hear your thoughts. And if this has been valuable to you, make sure you follow us on social media. The handle is TOS Legal. Website is toslegal.com. There are tons of resources available to help you take these next steps to control your legacy today. Talk to you soon. Bye.